yourself in another
You ready,
job,
Rick?
even if they leave your department, right?
I think we are ready.
It makes no sense.
To roll. This is Lehigh County Authority Board of Director meeting. Good afternoon. Today is January 8, 2024, a new year. The meeting is being held in person or remotely via Zoom or phone. Liesl, do you mind from far away? Can start a roll call for the Board of Directors? You see we have the quorum, please.
Yeah, certainly. And just for your awareness, I'll do roll call and get us through the first part of the agenda, and then we turn things over to Ed for the remainder of the meeting.
Okay, sorry, my apology.
That's perfect. So roll call of the board: Brian Noggle, Amir Famili,
Here.
Ted Lyons,
Here.
Linda Rosenfeld,
Here.
Norma Cusick,
Here.
Kevin Baker,
Present.
Jeff Morgan,
Here.
John Ziller,
Here.
Mark Gramis.
Here.
All right, we have a quorum.
Thank you. So the package for today's meeting was sent in advance in the mail or email, and also was was posted on the website. Reviewing the agenda, Ted, any changes in the agenda, any executive session which is required for today? Ed, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, I'm going to Lisa or I'm going to Ed? I don't know.
Go ahead, Ed. It's fine.
There are no changes to the published agenda, no reason for executive session.
Okay, thank you, appreciate that. Moving to the approval of the last meeting, which is from the December 11 of 2020. Linda, please.
Yes, I move that the minutes be adopted.
Second.
Okay. Motion made by Linda, second by Jeff. All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you. So this is the time for the public comment on the items which is not on the agenda. Any comment?
No comment, thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
No, thanks.
Thank you, Jen. Okay, let's moving on the action item, which is on the agenda. I believe Lisa, you sent via email an addition to the agenda on the finance and administrations. This is a resolution number 1-2024-1, which is authorizing the submission of the Redevelopment Assistance Capital Program grant request.
Okay, and this is the one item that I'm really here for, and Ed will handle the rest of the meeting. Thank you, Amir. The resolution number 1-2024-1 is related to a grant application that we are submitting. The grant application is due on January 12th. So Friday, and we wanted to get a resolution from the board authorizing the application. The resolution is not necessarily required for this particular grant application, but it's always a good practice for us to have the board be aware of grants that we're applying for and have them officially approved. This particular grant is a very large grant opportunity through the Office of Budget, Pennsylvania. And it's under the program name, the Redevelopment Assistance Capital Program, or RACP, it's often called. And in particular, the County of Lehigh has a line item in the RACP program for $30 million for infrastructure projects related to redevelopment opportunities. And in our work with a consultant from NTech Engineers, we've identified this as being a very good fit for the pretreatment plant upgrade program that we've been working on and talking with the board about, that's related to the Regional Act 537 plan. And so with the deadline coming upon us so quickly, we wanted to be on top of it and get that submission done as soon as possible. So the resolution that's before you is kind of a standard resolution that we've used for other grant applications, simply outlining the program that we're applying for, the amount we're applying for in the project, and then authorizing myself as the Chief Executive Officer and Ed Klein as the CFO to sign any paperwork that is involved related to that grant application. Kevin Reed has reviewed, and Kevin, if you have any comments for us, go for it.
No, there's no comments. I think you did an excellent job of summarizing it. And I would just reemphasize, while it's not a part of the application process, I do think it's kind of good practice, and also from an auditing standpoint that the board has, weighed in and seen the grant and provided these authorizations.
Weigh in, does it require a vote or just being FYI?
I would take a vote. I would take an official vote.
Okay. So, could you mind if you read the resolution and we go through the?
Sure, I'll read the summary of the resolution. So it's resolution number 1-2024-1. It's authorizing the submission of a redevelopment assistance capital program grant request. It's designating Lehigh County authority officials, authorizing to execute all documents and agreements in connections with the requested grant, and assist in obtaining the requested grant and providing for other miscellaneous matters. This relates specifically for financial assistance for the industrial pretreatment plant upgrade and expansion project.
Thank you.
I move that we approve.
And I'll second.
Okay. Moved by Linda, who was Sean second. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposition to this? Okay, thank you, I appreciate that.
Thank you very much. I'm going to listen in for the rest of the meeting.
Okay.
That's all right. Yep.
We promise you we won't bother you, Lisa, so you can. Okay, the next item on the agenda is a project management and construction management software, which is in blue color that you have received, digital board package number 8 to 12, and who's
So
gonna
for
do
this
that?
project, I think we're gonna start with AJ, because he was integral and part of the process.
Okay.
And then AJ can turn it over to who he selected to kind of lead this thing as Matt Dorn.
Okay.
Thanks, Ed. Yeah, this is requesting board approval of a contract with Procore for a project management, construction management software to help our team lead and deliver the projects for the year. So with that, I'll turn it over to Matt.
Thank you. As everyone here is aware, we have a substantial project workload currently, and that will expand dramatically in the next few years. So with that in mind, we took a look at things, and we wanted to look for a tool to help our project managers lead and execute these projects efficiently and consistently from the study phase all the way through design and construction. In an effort to help us manage these projects, we decided to look at project management, construction management software. The main objectives of these technical solutions are data management, a communication tool, an overall financial and schedule management tool, engineering and operations collaboration, and contractor management. One of the benefits of this type of software is the reduced field time for our staff and for our consultants. Software can streamline managing and distributing meeting minutes, plan and spec reviews, submittals, requests for information, change orders, payment applications, and inspection reports. Also, the software will enable us to prepare graphics, which would be very valuable for the board here, to demonstrate project progress, schedules, spending, and other key project data. To start the process, we sent out an RFP to 5 firms that are well-known in this area. They were eBuilder Trimble, Oracle, Project Mates, Procore, and PM Web. Then we set up an internal project team for the review process. So the key issues we reviewed from those 5 proposals were company background and experience, the project team they were proposing to us, how they manage security of the data, their approach and work plan, and the training and support they would provide us. So based on those reviews, we shortlisted 3 of those firms. They were Project Mates, Procore, and eBuilder Trimble. So to each of those 3 firms, we sent questions and we called the references that they had all provided. After we got those answers, we had presentations from all 3 of them to our team. After the presentations, the team ranked those 3 firms, and the results were Procore was the highest ranked firm. Their costs were in the middle of those 3 firms, but they definitely had far more project experience of similar types of projects that we would use them for. And the references, utilities, consultants, contractors, they all spoke very highly of Procore when we spoke with them. The annual costs for this software is based on a proposed capital budget that we let them know what that would be. For year 1, we're proposing a $30 million capital budget, and that results in the fee that we have requested of $161,971. And future contracts would be based on what we propose as our capital budget for those years in the future.
And if I could add some detail, Procore, it's a project management software that's becoming widely used among engineering firms and large construction firms. A lot of the large construction firms that we deal with, they have Procore, and us having Procore will allow like a seamless exchange of data and documents such as shop drawing review and approval, and in the field like inspection photos, inspection records. Those can be uploaded in the field onto the Procore site and shared with everybody that is on that particular project team. It also has dashboards. And like Matt mentioned, graphics. It will come with like dashboard graphics that we can show to the board our progress on our projects. We can break it down in terms of division, like suburban division water, show you like what the health of our projects is. It allows a bundling and a display of project health. And on the project management level, for our project managers, it provides a standardized protocol for managing projects, the communication on projects, like dissemination of information, the scheduling, all that kind of things. And we think that will be very beneficial to Capital Works. And everybody will be required to use it. All project managers will have to have all their projects uploaded onto Procore. It's only as effective as people use it. But we're excited to get something that can standardize the way we manage construction projects. So we're primarily concerned with construction projects, and with the increased construction project workload expected in the next few years, we think we really need a tool, a versatile tool that's going to help us to navigate that. Like Matt said, the first year, the fee is a function of the value of construction projects, and I think we have around $30 million estimated. So as in future years, we'll be approaching the board for an annual authorization, and it'll be based on what we foresee in the coming year as constructing.
Question from the board member?
Yeah, this is Sean. I just have a quick question. So going in relation to that very last point, So the annual cost is purely, I would hope this would be baked into the contract, but it's purely based on the volume or the value of the capital projects, correct? There's no kind of fixed, in other words, they couldn't increase a fixed portion of that annual cost. It's purely based on volume and value, correct, of the capital budget?
That's correct, and I believe there's a cap. I think I think it caps at a certain amount, like say, I believe it's at $100 million, your fee is capped.
Okay, thank you.
Just a comment, I've used Procore and Project Mates, and
Okay.
way better than contractor dropping off a box of documents to you, as in the old days. So,
How would you compare both of those, Jeff?
I haven't used them a lot, but I've been Procore's been the one been working with most recently, so, but yeah, I like them both, but
Okay,
I think great idea.
thanks.
I just like to comment as well. So I guess we've gone beyond the days of manually preparing PERT and Gantt charts and even Primavera. Those things are long gone, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I've been through various project management softwares in my experience, and some of them are very clunky to use. It's very labor intensive to upload the data, and this one seems just right for us, and easy to use and easy to exchange data, and more than one dimensional, like some of those other scheduling softwares that you reference, like Primavera.
Is that still around? I was being facetious because I think the last time I've used that was like 1988 or something like that.
I can answer that one. So yeah, it's still one of the preferred scheduling softwares, and in fact, some of our contractors will use that, and the Procore software is able to integrate with that software and other off the shelf. But yeah, Primavera is still around. They were bought by Oracle, so they're another company now. But
And I will add that there's a financial component that can integrate with our accounting here with Munis. And that will be very valuable in tracking expenditures and percent complete on projects, earned value.
Couple questions from my end. Is this something unusual that their charges is based on number of project that you do, the dollar capital you put in there?
Not in this space.
Not in this space?
No, all of the construction management software kind of works that way now. It's expected, so the number is based on usage, right? You can buy licensing, or they're gonna say you're gonna have $50 million of usage, which they expect a certain number of people and bandwidth and server storage space and all this stuff. So that's kind of how they're doing their scaling.
Nice way to expand their value, right? So if I'm not mistaken, I was reading somewhere that we can look at the health of the projects, that how do we have metrics around the health of the projects that is going to be incorporated in that software?
yeah, I can answer that. Yeah, so that's part of my presentation last month was on our metrics around managing projects. So this software will help us have all the information in one place. We still have other tools like Power BI and whatnot, but the tracking of budget, tracking of schedule will be handled here in the software.
And is this like a gated sort of a project management? I don't know if you guys are familiar with the gated, when you go from feasibility and so on and so forth, or it's not a gated project management?
I mean, it will handle all phases, so study, design. I don't know necessarily that there's gates that you have to kind of pass through, but we will be able to control what access outside entities have. And the beauty of it is that we can interact internally. We can use it, our consultants can use it, the contractors can use it, and we're not using all different, different softwares. It'll be all in one place.
Okay. Any other question from board member? So seeking authorizations for professional service authorization for Procore software initial installation and the year one contract for the amount of $161,971. Can somebody make the motion?
So moved.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we give it to Ted as moved, and the second by Mark. Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
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 The opposition? No. Thank you, guys. I think that would bring a lot of value, the project management tools for where we are gonna go with upgrading our finance and having better project management and also better accountability on where each project stands as we go through especially the 2024 and beyond with the heavy load of the project that we're gonna have.
Yes.
Okay, moving from finance and administration to water, this is a Memorial Road emergency water main replacement. Seeking approval is a yellow document, digital board package, pages 13 to 14. Chuck, I think is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Amir. What I'm requesting today is a retroactive emergency declaration to realign a section of our water main in Upper Macungie Township that presently runs underneath a development site. There's the map that you'll see before you shows Tillman Street is on the top of the map. And below Tillman Street, that's the old Memorial Road that runs to the village of Coonsville. A section of that road was relocated by PennDOT or by the developer to enable the creation of a larger triangular shaped lot there where a hotel and a restaurant are going to be constructed. It's called Town Place by Marriott. Our line presently runs through the interior of that lot, the old section of Memorial Road. Our line ran along that old piece of road. Our line, the depth of our line is not as great as was shown on the as-built, and we recognize that as a high risk because interior access roads and parking areas are going to be constructed over our existing 12-inch water line that runs through the interior of the site. And we feel the need to do an emergency relocation of our line about 300 feet from Blue Barn Road, which Chris is showing, to along the relocated Memorial Road, and then tie back into our 12-inch line, thereby allowing the abandonment of a section of our water main that runs inside the proposed development. So we feel it's prudent in the interest of reducing future risk to our line to relocate a section of this line and abandon about 300 feet of that line in the interior of the development. And we're asking for a retroactive emergency declaration, an authorization to a contractor, Sherman Excavating, for $188,297 to construct the relocated line. It involves two tie-ins, valves, a line stop on Blue Barn Road in order to accomplish the tie-in, and then the abandonment of our line in the interior. We would just abandon it in place. We would just cap it on both ends and abandon it in place. So that's what I'm asking for today.
Any question from the board?
So if you had had Procore,
Yeah, I don't think Procore has a crystal ball. But point well taken. Yeah, unfortunately, nobody was able to foresee this situation.
so the as-bills were incorrect,
Correct.
basically.
Yes.
So Chuck, are they actually out there digging right now? So that
They are doing
that's what
site
makes
work.
it the
They're-
emergency, so it's not a
Yeah,
delay.
they're
claim?
putting, correct, they're
And
putting their
that's,
storm drainage system in
Right.
right now.
I'll give AJ and Chuck's team some kudos here. Their inspector, Nicholas, was on site and noticed the valve stem was up above grade and looked in, and it was only about 10, 12 inches deep at that point, and they're running construction vehicles across the top of it and stuff, so kudos to their
Yeah.
team.
Yep, thank you.
Chuck, I think I use this road maybe 5 times a day, so.
Memorial, okay, so you know it well.
But,
Yes.
yeah, so when they move the road, that now if you want to go to Tillman, you have to sort of make a bigger loop. Is there a requirement from PennDOT or whoever that before they move the road, they have to ask us if there is a pipe there, or they can just go ahead and dig?
They can just go ahead and move the road. I mean, we have an easement for our line, but as far as them moving the road, they don't contact us to ask us in this particular situation.
How long was the line in?
That line's been in since, I'm gonna say the 70s.
Yeah, long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an old road there.
It is old.
That's old 22, by the way.
Yes.
Back far enough.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Any other question from the board member? Okay. So seeking authorizations for a retroactive for the Memorial Road Emergency Water Main Replacement for the amount of $191,297.
So moved.
Okay,
Second,
okay, moved by Linda, second by Jeff. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you, Chuck. Moving to the topic of the wastewater, the LCA meter station number 1 and 2 upgrade. It is a green package, digital pages 15 to 22. You're gonna
Yes.
cover that, please?
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. As Amir mentioned, this is about the design and bid services for the proposed upgrades of LCA meter stations, number 1 and number 2. Just to orient you geographically, number 1 sits downstream of the Albertus. So it's actually, I think it's right in northern McCungie. It's right on the border. And then number 2 sits upstream of McCungie. So it captures the flow entering McCungie. And then 3 is on the backside of McCungie before it enters the western Lehigh. And meter station 3 is okay. No upgrades needed. And just for your sake, we do have meter station 5, which is one of our main billing meters. And meter station 4 is currently not active. It's by the 1760 grow house between the upper and lower McCungie lines. So meter station 4 is not in an ideal spot. So we're not going to talk about meter station 4. So just 1 and 2 today. And again, a little bit of background, the interim 537 plan that DEP approved that we're working under right now had a commitment to handle the entire system's sewer billing meters for the long term. It didn't specify what that was. It said we will address the sewer billing meters for the long term. So we're working on that right now, and this is actually the first project towards that goal. We're going to be talking to the signatories over these next couple months about what some long-term visions are for the sewer billing meters. So again, these are LCA meters, 1 and 2. They were installed in the 70s, and they're not currently used for billing. They were in the past. I'm not sure the exact date when that stopped. So they're, to be honest, they're not used at all right now. And that has to change because both boroughs have expressed the desire to quantify all the I&I work that they're doing. And in order to quantify the work, both of these meter stations have to be upgraded because they cannot handle the peaks. The flumes is a device that measures the flow. Those flumes are too small. So the work is going to be ripping out the old flumes, putting new flumes in, and then there'd be some ventilation work, to make it safe to enter, if we're gonna be there quite a bit. So that's the essence of the project is to remove those two flumes and put new flumes in that can handle adequate peak flows. Actually, for the 2021 flow study that we did, we tried to use both these meters to capture Albertus and Macungie. We tried and tried and tried. At the end of the day, we had to abandon that and put temporary meters in. The data was not sufficient. So again, we just had recent history here of these of not being inadequate. So I just want to give you a little bit of background. What happened in 2021? So again, the primary objective is the new flume. Secondary objective is ventilation, architecture on the outside. Nothing. The buildings themselves are not very big. They're half the size of this little area right here in the room. While we're doing that, Chris's team is upgrading SCADA for both stations. So this project's not going to be, this authorization request has nothing to do with SCADA. Chris has already been authorized to handle the SCADA and the communications. So we're going to work together with Chris's team and then do this package. So we're making sure all that's taken care of. LC Suburban Division's funding it. It's all LC Suburban. Again, this is for both design and bid. And then once we have the bid results, we'll go for construction authorization. The package should be ready by second quarter, so April, May, and then we'll go out to bid if everyone's comfortable with the proposed recommendations. So again, at the end of the day, I'm asking the board for a capital project authorization amount of $59,000, and of that $59,000, $49,000 is for the Arcadis to do the design and bid. And I will entertain any further questions.
Any questions?
These are LCA meter stations, so
Yes.
after they're back up and running, they'll be calibrated, maintained, everything by LCA?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah, right now they do function. They're hydraulically, they're okay, just the flumes are too small. When I say hydraulically, it's the location's okay, the physical location's okay, just the flumes are too small.
Is it going to impact the way we're going to be billing these two?
That's very insightful. There is, with all the 537 Section 7 pieces, there are, some of the ideas floated around are to do flow-based billing. So this project would lend itself to that if that's chosen. If that's chosen. But again, we're not going to change the way we're going to do Macungie and Albertus unless the whole group changes. Because right now they just use water meters to bill.
So seeking authorization for amount of $59,000 for capital project. Meter station number 1 and 2, Parashell flume replacement.
So moved.
Second.
Lunch must be heavy today, huh? The motion moved by Jeff and second by Linda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay, last part, I believe it is the monthly project update.
Yes, so in the package, there's an update on the things that are coming up. I'll just touch on some of the projects that you can expect to see when we come back in the 22nd. The first one will be, given that the economics look very favorable now as compared to a month ago. On the city side, of the 49% remaining left from the 2013 A bonds, with a net present value estimate of in the neighborhood of 11.5%, it would behoove us to move forward with the refinancing effort.
Slow down and translate what you just said into like 8th grade language.
So there's a lot of money to be gained by taking that remaining 49% and refinancing all of it and doing it very shortly, with an estimate of going to bond market in the end of February and closing at the end of March. The bond market right now and yields are favorable. So with a savings of, let's just say, $11.5 million, we intend to do that. So what you'll be seeing at the next meeting is a resolution to approve all of those efforts.
So the existing bonds are callable?
Yes.
Are there any premiums paid to call a bond?
Yeah,
Something like
they
this?
were callable in September of last year. In fact, I'm going back a bit in my memory, but we talked about doing this in September, and then all of a sudden, October, November, the bond yield and bond market went sour. And so it's not as sour anymore. And so it's the right thing to do. We're gonna move ahead on it. Quite frankly, there's still a contingency. Who knows what the Fed is gonna do? If all of a sudden they do something drastic, which I don't believe they're going to, but if they do, we'll have done most of the steps that we need to do to get back and do it again. But I expect really to go through the process, POS, appraisals, all of that stuff, get the board to sign off on it, and we will have the savings that we need. And while we're doing the refinancing, we done a cap plan that said we're going to borrow $55 million for specific project work. Well, we're going to wrap that up all in one, so that we're doing.
How long are these bonds?
They'll be 30 years, but we'll take a look at what makes sense, because you got a lot of things coming down the road, and what we don't want to do is shift principal payments down the road too far. You're going to run out of time, first of all, because this thing ends in 263. So we're going to be very careful on how we structure principal repayments. There's a couple other lease concession issues that we have to sort through as well. So
thank you.
So, and just following up on, again, at the 8th grade finance level, if the Fed would say cut rates a quarter point or half a point or something in March, is that good or is that bad?
That's good. That's all
For the
favorable.
bond yield, so that'll help, right?
Yes, that would push us a little bit more
Okay,
pleasant.
right, okay.
And if they went the other way, that's what I
Yeah.
meant by the bad news would be if all of a sudden they said, well, we don't like inflation, so we've got to do something about that. That would push us in the wrong direction.
When you said bond yield, I just got a little confused.
Bond rates.
Okay.
So that's one of the projects that'll be coming up, and like I said, I'll be seeking approval in that meeting. We're working on some things now. The next thing would be, we've got some a water filtration plant, emergency power design project gonna come up in front of you in the second meeting. And then I see one more on the wastewater side of the business, which would be down at Klein's Island for a septic receiving and vacuum truck unloading mods. There's some work that needs to be done down there to make it a whole lot more pleasant to deal with. In terms of the monthly financials, we hold the books open longer in January to make sure that we cover any subsequent business that should have been on the books, so that we stay on the within the realm of role-based accounting for GASB. So I'm not going to be doing probably the December picture until sometime in February, most likely the first week in February. I do know operations is gonna do their normal report the second meeting as well. And that's pretty much what I got coming up.
Any questions? Thank you. I think that covers everything that we have for today. Any staff comment?
None?
No, thank you. Solicitor comment?
No comment, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Thank you. Any public comment on the topic which was not covered?
No, thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Board comment?
Just a question
Oh.
for Andrew. If, just curious with all the rain in December, if there's nothing catastrophic that we've heard about, everything worked as well as possible?
I don't know that I would go as far as say. We did run into some issues with the amount of rain that we received in
Right.
December. We
Okay.
did have quite a few bypasses, which I'll get to in the
Okay.
ops report next board meeting. And once again, with the snow and the rain
Yes.
coming, it's gonna be a couple interesting nights coming up, so stay tuned.
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Tuesday and Wednesday is gonna be, with all the snow melting, I think. It's gonna be very interesting. Any other board comment?
Just to add, because I failed to catch it earlier, but I was not at the last meeting. So I just want to, for the record, in terms of approval of the minutes from last meeting, I'll just mark it as an abstention.
Thank you for clarification, Sean.
Sure.
Amir, I also was not present at the last meeting, so I should also be as absent
Okay.
or abstaining.
Yeah, thank you. Anybody else? Okay, thank you. I have a comment from Chairman, which is not present today. The 2024 would be a very, very busy year for LCA with the Act, 537, everything coming to the table for the LCAs and coming to the board for approval. In order to facilitate and speed up some of the decision-making process to make sure that things are coming from the board, sort of are, cross the teeth and dot the i's.
We're gonna meet weekly? We're meeting weekly.
Daily. With the kind of food we're getting, I think daily would be better, yeah. So the chairman has decided, we're working with Lisa to form an executive board subcommittee to help with Lisa on sort of be a sounding board to review the projects as they come to the board, that we know what they are. So we have, so we don't drag some of the key decisions that we have to make. So the subcommittee has been formed, which include Kevin, Ted, and myself, that we're going to meet with Lisa on the monthly basis or as need basis. Again, the intent is not to create bureaucracy and obstacle. The intent is here to facilitate and speed up the decision-making process. We will ask, we have members of the boards that they have a lot of expertise in different areas, and depending upon the topics on the table, we will ask the other board members to join for the monthly meeting for the review of the project, make sure that everything is kosher, so to speak, before come to the board. So that was the message that Chairman had for me to convey to the team. Lisa, you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I do. Thank you, Amir. I just want to acknowledge that Brian and I have discussed a few times now about committee structure and whether there's a way that the board can provide some additional support for the level of project that we're going to be facing in 2024, as well as the breadth of the decision-making that has to happen in the coming year. So really appreciate Amir, Kevin, and Ted, and really the entire board, but those three members in particular for their willingness to serve on this committee. I'll be reaching out for scheduling purposes. We'll probably ask Lisa to help me with that somewhat. And we'll also involve some additional staff members in some of those meetings as we get into some of the deeper decisions that we have to make this year. So just appreciate the additional level of support this year. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, with that note, we conclude the meeting and wish everybody a very nice week. Good day, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.